Subscribe to my channel Report Stock.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a really interesting corner of the tech world. We're looking closely at RailVision.
Hmm.
This is a company with some, well, truly ambitious goals. They want to revolutionize railway safety and data with cutting-edge tech.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space.
So to really get a grip on where they stand, we've taken a deep dive into their first half 2025 financial results. Think of this as, your shortcut to understanding the pulse of an innovative company.
Absolutely.
Our mission here is to pull out the most important nuggets from these financial documents. We want to show you what's really driving this early-stage technology company.
Right.
And why should you care? Well, because it offers a fantastic practical lesson in how innovative companies navigate intense growth, secure financing, and expand globally, especially within a critical, often overlooked industry like rail.
Exactly. And this isn't just about the numbers on a page, right? It's about the future of how we move people and goods safely. And what's truly fascinating about these specific types of documents, these half-year financial reports, is that they do more than just present raw numbers. They weave together the hard data with the company's strategic narrative. It's kind of like getting a full diagnostic report.
Yeah.
That also tells you the patient's aspirations and, how they plan to get there. It gives us a much fuller picture of their trajectory.
That's a perfect way to put it, a fuller picture. Okay, so let's start with the very heart of RailVision, their mission. RailVision Ltd. You can find them on NASDAQ, ticker RVSN. They identify themselves as an early commercialization stage technology company.
Okay, early stage.
And their core objective is bold: to completely transform railway safety and the data market using advanced artificial intelligence.
Right. AI is the key here.
We're talking saving lives, boosting efficiency, dramatically cutting costs for railway operators, and they even talk about pushing the revolutionary concept of autonomous trains into a practical reality.
Which is huge. That's not just incremental.
No, it's a paradigm shift. David David, their CEO, shared his perspective in the report, and it really paints a picture of growing confidence. He said, and I'm quoting here, that he recognized the company's strong technological foundation and its potential to transform rail safety and efficiency even before he joined. But after several months inside, he emphasizes, "My confidence in that potential has only grown."
That's telling.
He points to a talented, driven team, innovative technology, and now, with the solid cash position, as the core reasons they are, well-positioned to expand our market reach while continuing to allocate resources.
To stay ahead.
Exactly, to ensure we remain at the forefront of innovation.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underscores a crucial trend. AI-driven solutions are becoming absolutely essential for modern infrastructure challenges, especially in sectors like rail, where safety is just paramount.
Right.
So when the CEO talks about a strong technological foundation, he's referring to the building blocks for that larger vision. Autonomous trains might still sound like science fiction to some.
A little bit, yeah.
But RailVision is actively laying that groundwork. Their current steps, like deploying their mainline system for advanced detection and data analytics, that's the core product now.
Yeah.
That seems to be the flagship, yeah. It's not just about immediate safety. It's foundational to that much more transformative long-term goal.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, here's where we see that ambition translate into action, their commercial execution. RailVision isn't just, talking about big goals. They're showing tangible market penetration globally.
Which is what you want to see at this stage.
Right. The report highlights an initial penetration in Central America early in 2025. This was a purchase order from a freight operator for their mainline system, a clear signal of continued global expansion.
Okay, Central America.
And it gets even better. They followed that up with a follow-on order from Latin America. In June 2025, they secured a $335,000 order from a leading mining company.
A follow-on order, you said. That's
Right.
important.
Yes, exactly. This wasn't a one-off. It came after a successful long-term trial of their mainline system, and under what the report describes as challenging environmental and operational conditions.
So it works in tough places. Mining environments aren't easy.
Definitely not. And the report notes this supports the customer's broader plans to enhance safety and optimize their transport efficiency, so they see the value.
That validation is key, especially the follow-on part.
And maybe one of the most strategically significant moves, their entry into Indian market. RailVision signed a binding memorandum of understanding and MOU with Sujin Ventures.
India. Wow, that's a huge market.
Huge. This collaboration aims to unlock opportunities with Indian Railways, which operates, get this, thousands of locomotives across the subcontinent.
Thousands. Yeah, scale is enormous.
Sujin Ventures will be leading those local efforts, making it clear RailVision intends to enter one of the world's largest rail markets. That's a bold, long-term play.
Definitely a long-term play. So this raises an important question. What do these varied commercial successes really tell us about the mainline system itself?
Right, its versatility.
Exactly. From a freight operator in Central America to a mining company in Latin America, and now aiming for Indian railways. It strongly suggests their technology isn't just a niche product.
It's adaptable.
It seems very adaptable to vastly different operational contexts, from demanding mining sites to vast national networks. And that follow-on order, as you highlighted, is a powerful endorsement. It shows real customer satisfaction.
Proof it works, and they want more.
And it indicates the system's scalability. They're not just making a sale, they're building strategic partnerships where customers see enduring value.
That makes sense.
And entering India. That speaks volumes about their global ambition and, frankly, the perceived universal applicability of their AI safety solutions.
That adaptability across such diverse markets really is key to their growth story, isn't it?
It seems to be.
But all this global expansion and, cutting-edge R&D requires significant capital.
Money.
So let's turn our attention to how they're funding this ambition, starting with their current cash position. The report shows that as of June 30th, 2025, their cash and cash equivalents stood at $22.4 million, which is a notable increase from $17.2 million at the end of 2024.
Right, about a $5 million jump.
Yeah, so for us, the big question is, where did this significant bump in cash come from?
Yeah, good question. And what's fascinating here is how they generated that cash. The report clarifies it's mainly due to proceeds received from issuances of ordinary shares.
So selling stock, basically.
Essentially, yes. Selling more stock. Now, they did this through a few specific financial tools. There was an equity line facility established back in October 2024.
Okay.
An at-the-market sales facility, or ATM facility, established more recently in April 2025.
Right.
And also through the exercise of warrants.
Warrants. Okay, maybe. Could you quickly demystify those terms? Like equity line facility or warrants? How do those work for raising money?
Sure, absolutely. Think of an equity line facility or an at-the-market sales facility, the ATM, as a flexible way for a company to sell new shares. Instead of doing one big offering, they can sell shares directly into the stock market over time, kind of tapping it as needed.
Like a credit line, but for stock.
Exactly. It's like having a pre-approved credit line, but for selling stock instead of borrowing cash. It gives them flexibility without the pressure of one massive event.
Got it. And warrants?
Warrants are a bit different. They're like long-term options. They give the holder the right, but not the obligation, to buy the company's stock at a set price in the future. So when these warrants get exercised, the holder buys the stock, the company issues new shares, and gets cash in return.
Ah, okay. So people are choosing to buy stock via these warrants.
Correct. And these kinds of mechanisms, the equity lines, the ATMs, the warrants, are often favored by growing companies. They offer flexibility, a potentially steadier stream of capital, and they can sometimes be less disruptive or dilutive than one huge stock offering or taking on debt.
Right. Avoiding interest payments, too.
Precisely. So all these together brought in an aggregate of $9.8 million in gross proceeds, before accounting for cash used in operations and investment.
Okay, that explains the jump in cash.
And for an early-stage tech company like RailVision, having that solid cash position, as the CEO put it, is incredibly important. It directly backs up his statement about being well-positioned to expand market reach and keep investing in R&D.
It's the fuel.
It's absolutely the fuel for their ambitious global expansion and that crucial research and development. It's all about funding future growth.
That's a really clear explanation, thanks. It highlights how strategic these financial moves are. Okay, now let's pivot to the income statement itself. This is where things get interesting again. When we look at their revenue for the first half of 2025 compared to 2024, there's a notable point. Revenues were $237,000 for H1 2025,
Okay.
which is a significant 69% decrease from the $761,000 in H1 2024.
Wow, 69%. That's a big number.
It is. The report says this decrease was primarily attributable to the timing of revenue recognition.
The timing factor again.
Right. With most of the revenue coming from additional installations of our mainline systems for Israel Railways and from services provided to existing customers.
Sure.
So that 69% drop sounds substantial, but how should we really interpret timing of revenue recognition for a company like this?
That's a crucial point. For an early-stage technology company, especially one tagged as early commercialization,
Yeah.
a dip in reported revenue due to timing of revenue recognition
Yeah.
is often much less alarming than it might seem at first glance, or less alarming than for a mature company.
Okay. Why?
Because it essentially means the sales activity of the contracts, the deployments might be happening, like those deals in Central Latin America we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But the accounting rules dictate when you can actually book that revenue on your income statement.
Right. Rules are rules.
And often, for complex system installations like RailVision's, revenue is recognized only once a project is completed or specific milestones are hit.
So the cash might come later, or the official seal gets logged later.
Exactly. So we could be seeing sales momentum building up, but the financial recognition lags behind the actual commercial activity on the ground.
Okay, that context is important. So while recognized revenue decreased, their expenses actually went up. Research and development expenses for H1 2025 hit $3,241,000. That's up from $2,458,000 in H1 2024.
A noticeable increase in R&D spending.
Yeah. The report explains this jump was primarily due to higher salaries, reflecting both more people and pay rises, and also the impact of the U.S. dollar weakening against the Israeli shekel, the NIS, since salaries are paid in shekels.
Currency fluctuations always a factor for international companies.
Right. They also cited higher share-based payment expenses and increased purchases of R&D equipment, investing in the tools and the talent.
Makes sense if they're pushing innovation.
And general and administrative, or G&A, expenses followed suit. They reached $2,512,000 for H1 2025, up from $2,116,000 in H1 2024.
G&A up as well.
And the reasons given were quite similar. Higher salaries, including adjustments and some one-time bonuses, the same impact from the dollar versus the shekel, and also higher share-based payment expenses from new RSU grants to employees.
Okay.
So money going out, definitely increasing on the expense side.
Right. But if we broaden our perspective here, for an early-stage tech company, increased R&D and G&A expenses often signal an aggressive investment phase.
Investing in growth.
Exactly. Investment for growth and innovation. They're pouring resources into developing their core technology, hiring key people, expanding their operations, setting up those international markets.
Like India.
Like India. This aligns perfectly with the CEO's goal of staying at the forefront of innovation and expanding market reach.
So it's spending money to make money down the line.
Pretty much. It's an investment in building future revenue streams. It doesn't necessarily signal a fundamental problem, but rather confidence in their product and strategy. They're betting on themselves.
That reframing is really important. It sounds like they're playing the long game, strategically investing now for future returns.
That's often the case in this phase.
Okay, now let's look at the ultimate bottom line, the net loss. For H1 2025, their GAAP net loss that's generally accepted accounting principles was $5,679,000, or $0.11 per ordinary share.
Okay, a loss of about $5.7 million.
Right, but here's the kicker. This is a substantial improvement compared to H1 2024. Back then, the GAAP net loss was a massive $24,324,000, or $1.99 per share.
Wow, from over $24 million loss down to under $6 million. That is a huge swing.
Huge swing. They also reported a non-GAAP net loss that was $4,869,000, or $0.44 per share for H1 2025. Also an improvement from the non-GAAP loss of $5,394,000, or $0.44 per share in H1 2024.
Yeah, and one last detail on this. They had other financial income of $406,000 in H1 2025. That compares to $1,304,000 in financial expenses in H1 2024.
So a swing from expense to income there. Yeah, a swing of $1,710,000. The report says this was mainly due to the full amortization of the discount related to the convertible loan credit facility entered into in January 2024.
Okay, some accounting cleanup from a previous financing deal, basically.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
So lots of numbers there, but the overall picture is a much smaller loss, especially on the GAAP side.
Right, and this raises that important question. Why look at both GAAP and non-GAAP figures? Why do companies report both?
Yeah, what's the difference matter?
Well, the report itself gives us a clue. It says non-GAAP typically excludes things like stock-based compensation expenses.
Which we saw increase?
Exactly. And also things like revaluation of derivatives, warrant liabilities, and these are often non-cash items.
Yeah.
Imagine you give someone stock options instead of a cash bonus. It hits your GAAP accounting, that's an expense, but no actual cash left the building at that moment.
Ah, I see. So non-GAAP tries to show a picture closer to the cash operations.
Often, yes. It aims to give a view of the underlying operational performance without some of these non-cash accounting charges or one-off items. Okay?
Great.
So the really substantial reduction in the GAAP net loss from over $24 million down to under $6 million, even with higher operating expenses and that temporary revenue dip. That's a critical takeaway.
Why is that GAAP improvement so key then?
Because it strongly suggests that the prior period, H1 2024, included some very significant non-cash charges. The report actually mentions an $18.8 million revaluation of derivatives, warrant liabilities, and other charge in H1 2024. That explains most of that huge loss last year.
Ah. So that massive $24 million loss wasn't all real money going out the door week to week.
Not in the sense of operational cash burn, no. A huge chunk was these non-cash accounting adjustments, likely related to the financing structures they had in place then.
Okay.
Those charges aren't hitting the bottom line as heavily in 2025. So this points to a potentially more stable, less volatile financial structure moving forward. It suggests a maturing capital structure and maybe a much healthier underlying financial picture than that raw 2024 GAAP number might have initially suggested.
That makes a huge difference in interpreting the numbers.
Wow. What an insightful journey through RailVision's first half 2025 financial results. So, to recap, we've seen a company with a strong technological foundation,
Definitely.
aggressively expanding its market reach globally with diverse commercial wins, Central America, Latin America, eyeing India.
Showing that versatility.
Right. They've been very effective at raising capital through strategic financial tools to fuel their ambitions,
Securing that runway.
all while investing significantly in R&D and operations, playing that long game. This is happening even as they navigate the, timing of revenue recognition.
Which is normal at this stage.
And importantly, they've shown a dramatic improvement in their overall net loss picture, largely by shedding some of those complex non-cash financial charges from the past.
A cleaner, leaner picture emerging.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you, the informed listener? It means that understanding an early-stage company like RailVision requires looking far beyond just the top-line revenue number alone.
It's more than just that one number. Absolutely. It's about discerning the strategic investments they're making right now, in tech, in people, in markets. It's about understanding the depth and breadth of their market penetration efforts. Are they getting traction? Are customers happy?
Like that follow-on order showed.
Precisely. And it's about grasping the underlying financial health as they build for the future. Those short-term fluctuations in revenue or increases in operating costs, they need context. They absolutely need context. They have to be viewed within the broader picture of their long-term vision and their evolving capital strategy.
Great summary.
So here's something to think about. As you consider companies like RailVision, these innovators pushing boundaries, how do you personally weigh that immediate financial snapshot? Things like a temporary dip in revenue or increased spending. How do you weigh that against the long-term strategic investments in global expansion and cutting-edge innovation when you're trying to evaluate its true potential?
Subscribe to my channel Report Stock.